Hello, Promise House family. We are so excited to come to you all again via our Zoom interviews. This is something that I've been doing here at Promise House as the CEO with some of our amazing staff members. And today we have the pleasure and the joy of having Liz McGowan with us. Liz is our case manager at our TLP home for our LGBTQ community. So welcome, Liz.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's so good to see you and good to have you on this call today. I hope that you are surviving COVID as best as you can with the rest of us. How are you surviving with COVID?
Uh, I got a bit of cabin fever, but I'm okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think we all have a little bit of cabin fever. We're ready to get out and stretch our arms and move around a little bit, right?
yeah, definitely.
Well, Liz, welcome again. And we're welcoming our family and friends who will watch this just to kind of learn a little bit more about our programs. This is designed so individuals who may not be able to touch and hear some of the amazing work that you're doing in your home. This would allow them to kind of touch and feel through you. So we get a chance to live vicariously through you of the things that you're doing in the house. So if you wouldn't mind, Liz, tell us a little bit about you and what brought you to Promise House and what called you to do this work that you're doing with our family members.
Um, so a little bit about me. I am a certified country girl, from
You
deep
said certified, right?
certified country girl,
Okay.
handful of dirt, from Mississippi, and growing up as a black lesbian female in Mississippi comes with its own set of challenges.
Hmm.
Um, I've always kind of had a heart for helping people, specifically helping youth. And I saw that there was a need for help with LGBTQ youth. Um, and I've kind of dedicated my life to that work. Even in undergrad, every research project, I'm sure my professors were tired of me because every project was about LGBTQ. Um, and that continued into grad school. So um, I was fortunate enough to figure out my purpose early in life and allowed the opportunity to actually follow that purpose.
Well, that's outstanding. Thank you so much. That means the world to us. And this being Pride Month, we thought how appropriate for us to just share and highlight the work that you're doing. As a brother of a family member who's self-identified as LGBTQ, I'm grateful for your work that you're doing and so appreciate your advocacy for many of our young people in community that experience some challenges in navigating how to live. And so thank you for being transparent and coming on this call. So most people, Liz, when they hear about Promise House, they know Promise House as an emergency shelter. Most people know who we are by 224 Page Avenue in Dallas. Most individuals do not know that we have 6 transitional homes and 2 are specialized. Would you tell us a little bit about your program and what you do and how you provide services for this specialized community?
Yes, so the transitional living program for the LGBTQ youth, um, it's um, it's an 18-month program. The youth are that 18 months. It can vary depending on the age of the youth. And our youth range from 18 to 21, and they age out of the program at 21. But it's an 18-month program full of life skills, as well as what I've noticed with specifically our LGBTQ youth is it's kind of like, in a way, a second puberty. So you
Mm.
are figuring out who you are and accepting who you are and your place in the world and how you identify yourself and kind of how to remain firm in that identity. I think that might be the one piece that separates the LGBTQ program from our other TOP homes, is the identity piece of kind of figuring it out. In addition to the life skills, um, they also have assistance with education. They have assistance with kind of financial literacy, which is another part of their life skills. They are required to save while they stay here, as well as work either a full-time or a part-time job. Um, I look at the transitional living program as kind of a baby stepping into adulthood. If you didn't get it the first time around, you'll definitely get it through this program.
Well, thank you for sharing that. As our family members are looking on, they may not have been had any idea that we have an LGBTQ home. So describe the home a little bit. Most people may think, is this a shelter? Is it in a building? What does the house even look like? I know I've been there, and I think you all have done an amazing job to make it feel like home. So describe the home a little bit for those who may not have chance to visit you.
Okay, so the home is it's a residential setting. It is a home. It is a three-bedroom home that houses four youth.
Okay.
Um, the program actually has the capacity for eight, um, but three bedrooms, two bathrooms, four youth at a time, full kitchen. The youth cook their meals, do their dishes. They have chores. Um, we have a gaming system set up. Sometimes I go in and uh, beat them at Mario Kart when they fill
Oh
up.
wow. Okay.
We have an amazing patio space that I kind of have a vision of transforming into a meditation space for them.
Okay.
Um, but uh, it is a regular home, and I
Yeah.
think for our youth, that's something that's really really valuable because some of our youth have bounced around a lot and they've never ever experienced a regular home.
Wow. Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that. So this meditational space, describe that for us because some of our listeners may be interested in how they can assist. So what would that space look like for you if you had someone listening who would want to assist with creating that space for you?
So the meditation space is, truthfully, it's patio space with pillows, with seating space, with calming features, maybe like a rock garden, sand garden, um, some string lights, just a calming space that you can go to and hang out and just unplug. A green space is needed. I know that the most comfortable and calming time I've experienced is when I was outside and just one with nature. And in the heart of a busy city, I think that that's something that's extremely needed, um, especially during this time when our youth aren't as free to go and come as they want to out of precautions during COVID. So I
Mhm.
realized that that space is definitely something that can be beneficial when you just need a break.
A lot of our, as we are learning, a lot of our LGBTQ community and our youth specifically have some special needs. What, if you're talking to our guests who are watching, what would you say are some special needs that, if you were asking for some things to assist you with your program, what would be some of those special needs that our youth may have in the program?
Truthfully, mentors,
Okay.
mentors who kind of understand the difficulty of figuring it out and figuring out who you are, as well as employment opportunities that allow them to be their authentic selves and not
Okay.
have to worry about, will my job be in danger if I show up dressed as a female and you've always known me as a male.
Mhm.
Um, so just jobs that are affirming and mentors who are supportive in those transitions or figuring out who they are through affirmation.
And so if someone were to sign up as a mentor, so with your program model, and I want to ask a little bit more about program structure. So would they actually have opportunity to come and visit them at the house? Would they have to go to the different locations? Could they go off campus? What would that look like for them if I were to sign up as a mentor?
So typically, that would have to be an off-campus thing because the home's location is not disclosed. It's not
Okay.
public,
Okay.
and that's out of safety for the youth. Um, Typically, we deal with clients who are or can be a very highly targeted population. We have Black trans women who are in this program, Black trans men who are in this program, and trans women across cultures or race lines are typically more at risk for being violently attacked or even killed. So, out of precaution, we keep that location undisclosed. So those mentors would have to meet them off campus to be able to be engaged with them,
Very good.
which helps because our youth also need exposure to
Okay.
different things in life.
So then, just as a plug, so if someone were wanting to volunteer, they would contact maybe Tiffany, our volunteer coordinator, and help connect that,
Absolutely.
and then connect them with you, and you could match the volunteer with them. Would that be the proper way to do that?
Absolutely. That's exactly how it would work.
Okay, good. So let's talk through a normal day in your home. Being a true country girl, I know that you can cook. So I will. We eventually will talk about food, hopefully, to be able to share. I know that you probably are always in the kitchen stirring up the pot for some of the kiddos there. But what is a typical day for a resident who's in the house?
So typically the youth will wake up around 7:30. If they receive medication or take medication, they'll receive their medication. And they are they will leave around 8. Go out and look for jobs, or if they have a job, go to work. And they're out of the home from 8 to 5, either looking for jobs or doing some sort of productive activity, looking for jobs, doing school, working, something to that nature. 5 o'clock, they can return to the home, and typically they'll have dinner somewhere between the hours of 5 and 8. At 8 o'clock, it's chore time. At 9, uh, the kitchen is closed, basically.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, you have to have a kitchen closed time, otherwise, all those chores will just be null and void. Um,
It'd be like my house. The kitchen and the refrigerator just swings open all the time, right?
exactly. So you have to have a cutoff point at some point, but that's also, in a way, giving them structure in in the home.
Okay.
Um, Typically around 11, everybody kind of winds down and goes to the bed, and they're asleep until 7. But in that time, the cooking and kind of we play games. We have board games here, so we play games. We watch movies. Um, the time at the house typically looks like what it would look like at your house or at my house,
Okay.
and that's intentional
Sure.
because while this is an environment that is in large part a shelter environment, we want it to feel as much like home as possible, um, because home is associated with love
Yeah.
and care. So we try to mimic that environment as much as possible.
Great. So, about these home cooked meals, let's go there. So, are they cooking for the whole group? Are they typically cooking for themselves? What is that? Do you eat family style in that
Mm,
evening meal? What does that usually look like?
Typically, if you go in the kitchen to cook, you are cooking for the group.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay,
you're cooking
okay.
for the group. And we currently have a resident who is an amazing cook.
Oh, really?
We've been enjoying some very fine Mexican cuisine lately. Um, but yeah, typically, if you're cooking for the group. Um, Occasionally, on special occasions, I will get in the kitchen and cook for them. The big thing right now is grilling.
Oh, okay.
Um,
So you guys have a good grill that you grill on
yeah,
outside?
I think in the first year of the program, someone donated a grill to us, and I just never took the time to actually like look at the grill. So during COVID, I was like, okay, I
Yeah.
have all the pieces, and I have time to do it out. So I cleaned the grill, and I was like, okay, let's try it out. So we have been cooking and grilling pretty much the entire time.
That's great.
Um, yeah, so. put
Well,
the girls.
I look forward to getting an invitation then. So I'll be waiting for that invitation for a cookout at the house.
All right, we got you.
So tell me then, you mentioned COVID, the grilling is increased. What other ways has COVID affected some of the residents in the house? What good, bad, or indifferent? What have been some of the effects of COVID?
So just like with the rest of us, COVID has kind of shut down activities for them. We've had to cancel our classes, our life skill classes off site, um, just because that was an exposed risk for us or an exposure. Um, so we've gotten more creative with how we do life skill classes, and that's kind of moved to either we're teaching them ourselves or we are enlisting YouTube University. But
That's
we have to
everybody's
get,
friend, right?
yeah, we've had to get really creative with how we deliver uh, those services. Um, a lot of movement that we used to do before we're not able to do, so they haven't really had a whole lot of outings. We've actually it's kind of put a damper on their moods because they haven't been able to really just get out of the house
Mhm.
and do anything. So we've kind of tried to create like go for a walk or do what is possible in this time. um so
So were any
having
of the
hitting them off.
yeah, I think we're all ready for COVID to be done, right?
Yeah.
So was anyone affected where they lost their job due to COVID, whether their company was laying off, or anyone who may be in school? Has that affected any of the residents if they were actually in school during this time?
Yes, so we had a student in college, and his classes went to 100% online.
Oh, okay.
His job was actually through his college, so that
Mm,
cut his source of income. And honestly, I feel really bad because he was only going to be here for a short time,
mm.
so it's kind of cut away a lot of the money that he would have been able to earn and save. Um, So yeah, COVID definitely kind of wrecked some of the plans that we had in place, but it hasn't completely thrown us off track.
Okay. Oh. So, what would you say has been one of your most memorable moments while working at the TLP home? What's been one of those moments that just really touched your heart and something that it's one of those places you go back to as a recall when days are tough for you? What's could you share with maybe one of your most memorable moments?
Oh, I have a few of them. So I think it was the first year that the program was uh, in place. We had a youth who came to us, and they were a few months shy of graduating high school, but they were um, about a year behind on their work. But in those few months, we were able to get them caught up completely.
Wow.
And she was actually able to graduate on time.
Wow.
Um, I actually still have contact with that youth. um,
That's great.
so yeah, that
That's
that one,
powerful.
yeah, yeah.
That's
That.
great. Well, thank you for sharing that. Anything else you would like to share with our listeners that you think would be help them connect with what the work that you're doing, or help them even maybe want to volunteer, become a mentor? What would you say to someone listening, ways in which they can help at the house?
Um, Definitely reach out to our volunteer coordinator, Tiffany Ollie, because we do need your help. We do. Um, we need mentors. We need teachers for these life skills classes to get back on track because I am not a finance guru, but I'm trying my best.
Okay. So
um,
finance class will be one. So if a listener, if there's finance skills, she's just put that out there for you. That's great. Okay. Teaching
um,
some budgeting and what have you. That's maybe one. Okay.
Budgeting is
Okay. Okay.
definitely be helpful. Um, just donate any way that you can. I'm of old school that beggars cannot be choosy.
Hmm.
And anything of value is welcome. So
Absolutely.
anything is welcome.
Well, thank you for that. So, a couple of takeaways that I've heard is that I did hear some needs, one of which is our mentors, maybe some life coaching people to maybe teach some classes. So, that's one way. If you're a listener, you can get engaged with our home with Liz, connecting with Tiffany Ollie. I also heard you're trying to build a sanctuary on that back patio. And so, maybe some resources. If you have one of our listeners may have access to resources, maybe some patio furniture. Heard you say some mood lighting and what have you. That may be an opportunity there. So thank you for sharing those. Liz, we are so appreciative of all the amazing work that you're doing with our kiddos in your home. And thank you for the amazing story of taking a young person who was maybe on the fringe of graduating but still needed some help, but getting them back um, uh, to to the place where they were able to graduate on time. Thank you so much. Um, just real quick, one way that also we want to just hear whether or not individuals can create an Amazon wish list or go to the Amazon wish list for the LGBTQ home, so
Yeah.
they can actually donate that way as well. Correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay, very good. And so that list is on the website. We want to encourage you to visit our social media platforms via Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Go to our YouTube page. You'll see some of those wish list items. And so we want you to visit all of our social media platforms. Again, Liz, thank you for all the work that you and your team are doing on there. Keep up the good work. We so appreciate you being a part of our family and a part of our team. You have a great day, okay?
All right, you too.